Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another week, another edition of ESL Open Cup Americas number 216. It feels a little bit weird, but we did cover the 215th edition yesterday. Yesterday, we did cover the previous week's ESL Americas, and it was a great tournament. It was a lot of fun. We got a lot of PvP action. We got to see the rise of a couple of really interesting players, and of course 3Point was able to pop off. 3Point had a big upset over Trigger, which was the start of the broadcast. I do recommend checking it out. We saw Hero dominate. We saw Max able to overcome some obstacles that previously have kind of been a thorn in his side, specifically his series against Dark, and of course Hero just wrapping things up, barely dropping a single map in the entire tournament. It was crazy, the run that Hero was able to go on. I recommend the VODs. Meanwhile, we are here catching up on ESL Open Cup Americas 216. Again, this is a replay cast. If you're curious, these events did occur a couple of days ago. They occurred a couple of days ago, less than a week. Let me just quickly double check. It was like 3 days ago. So not too long. Again, we're just catching up on events that happened earlier this week. I have yet to look at the bracket myself. There is a bracket command, !B. You will get a link to the Wikipedia page, but be careful. Be careful of that link. If you do want to avoid spoilers, then be wary of it and how far you do traverse on that bracket, on that page, as we are diving into our first matchup, our first series of the night. We are going to be getting through the round of 32, round of 16 thereafter, and the quarterfinals towards the end. We're going to be having a short break after the quarterfinals, and then we will dive into the semis, both semifinals and the grand finals as well. 7 matches in total here tonight. Let us begin with something a little bit spicier, something a little bit more Mimi. As you can see here, it is going to be uThermal versus Maplez. Oh boy. I'm ready for the nonsense, Bobby. I'm ready for the nonsense. Let's go, Bobby. Let's go. Now, quickly double checking. uThermal, if you will. His main race is Terran. True. But he is not playing as Terran. He is off racing as Zerg. Oh boy. And again, when it comes to uThermal, I don't know what level his Protoss and his Zerg are. I know his Terran obviously is his main race, and I mean, he was a pro gamer for a long time, so his Terran is damn good. I don't know what the level of his Zerg and Protoss are, so I don't really know what I'm about to stumble into. I don't know. So we're all gonna find out together here. How good is uThermal's off race? I mean, I'm sure he's made videos of it. I don't watch much content, unfortunately, when it comes to, you know, the YouTube man's content. So I'm sure there are videos that have been made regarding his off race. I'm sure he probably even made a video about this series, or maybe he's making a video about this series. Again, this is only a couple of days old, but here we go. I may as well try to set this up there. Hold on. uThermal. There we go. Bam, spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Side Delta, we have our Canadian Protoss player. The blue Protoss representing Team goes to, it is Maplez. Oh, that is not the right button. Hold on. There we go. There we go. And spawning in the top left hand corner, we have his opponent going for a gas first opener. Okay, going for a gas pool. We have the red Zerg player from the land of the Netherlands. It is, well, some know him as the YouTube man. It is uThermal. Bobby, let's go. Okay, so it's going to be a gas pool opener here from our Zerg player. Maplez, historically, I feel like has opened up like Forges and gone into Skytoss. Maplez is a very aggressive, very chaotic player. He has a bit of a reputation amongst the NA players, so we'll see kind of what or how uThermal is able to approach him. Already going for an aggressive opener, going for a delayed hatchery at the natural base. What are we feeling here? Of course, with this, we can rush into Link Speed. We can go for a Bane Bust. We can go for a Roach Rush. I'm feeling Roaches here for uThermal, but we'll see what he has in store for us here and how he makes use of this very fast gas. As Maplez, of course, is aware of what's going on. He was able to probe scout earlier, so he's fully aware of the earlier gas and the earlier pool timing. So that's why he's chronoing out that first Zealot. Zealot is being rushed out here to defend against any kind of Ling rush. Speaking of, Ling speed is on the way. Lings are in production, and we have not pulled out of gas. Like I know that uThermal, his main race isn't Zerg, but despite that, it should be like around Masters, maybe GM. He's still staying in gas for a reason. For good reason here. The probe scout does confirm this, does confirm the Ling speed is on the way, does confirm the gas is continuing to be mined from. This could be for a Ling Queen Nidus all in. This could be for like a fast lair here once we get a little bit of extra gas. If it was the Bailey Nest, we would have already seen it, and there it is. There's the fast lair. So I'm leaning towards a Ling Queen Nidus all in. It's early to tell though, because I mean we only have one queen. This could also be a Dropper Lord. The Overlord is being set up outside, and once the lair is done, you can morph in a Dropper Lord. Even without Overlord speed, it doesn't matter. You can, yeah, we're repositioning the Overlord for a reason. Are we gonna go for a Ling drop into the main? I'm leaning towards that, but again, if we take extra gases, we could go for a Nidus, where meanwhile we do have the Adept shading in. Big moment here for Maplez as he does commit to the shade, does get eyes on the lair, so he's fully aware of what's going on, fully aware of what uThermal is up to, at least when it comes to the very fast lair. Again, he also confirmed the lack of additional gases, so unlikely to be 2-base Muta, unlikely to be Muta, unlikely to be Hydras. You can cross a couple of things off, especially like Nidus as well. Like Nidus typically does require an extra gas, typically requires extra queen production. And there it is, Dropper Lords are on the way. Okay, so it all kind of makes sense. It has been spotted. Maplez, he's fully aware of the Dropper Lords. He sees one, doesn't see the other. And again, we do see that uThermal will be able to bypass this. Well, here we go, dropping in anyway. One Stalker is not enough DPS. And Lings, they have arrived. Do we have a shield battery in the main base? It's on the way. We do reposition that Stalker. Void Rays in production. We do try to bust into the main base, but there's a shield battery in position. So far, good defense from Maplez, but probes are now going down. Cheeky hold position micro there in the main base. Getting 3 probes. Hello, Mr. Ling. On a bit of a move command there, unfortunately. We do have more Lings flooding in towards the main base as well, trying to hold position micro here, but so far only 4 probes have gone down. Really nice defense so far by Maplez, despite the bare minimum that he has to defend. Remember, Warp Gate is still not quite done. We still need a couple of seconds. The one Stalker has been holding. We're going for a Glaive follow-up, and behind this, we're taking all 4 gases, and it is going to be a Spire transition for uThermal. I'm worried. I'm worried for uThermal because I feel like the Adepts, especially if we chrono out Glaives, we can hit with Adepts first. There it is, chrono on the Glaives. We should be able to get across the map before Mutas hit the field. Meanwhile, big scout here. Lings, they confirm the Twilight Council. They see it researching. The Glaives can be something that uThermal can deduce. And he needs more damage, but again, he's not doing any damage whatsoever because of the shield battery. The Lings, they do nothing. And after all said and done, we have to take stock here at the resources lost. We can see that 16 Lings have gone down. Both Dropper Lords went down as well. And we killed 5 probes. Not a good trade. Not a good trade here for uThermal. Not a good moment for him whatsoever. Maplez is coming out ahead after the openers. And again, he has a lot of counterattack potential. But he has to hit now. Again, the Spire is about to finish. It's about to finish, and we're going to be harassing with a couple of units. Void Ray dipping into the main base. How many queens do we have? We have 3 queens to defend. Mutas are on the way. It may be too late. This transition may be too late here for Maplez, as Mutas, they're going to be able to shut down the Void Ray, and they can get across the map and deal some damage. We have a handful of Adepts shading in, which is nice. Boys are being pulled. Oh, good positioning here by Maplez. Does take down 5 workers at the natural base already. We dive in towards the main. And we need more Adepts as the Mutas have been revealed. Phoenixes are on the way for Maplez. Again, he has the tools he needs to defend. Shield batteries, Phoenixes, we need more Adepts. I mean, ideally, so the plan would be is to send out Adepts as the Mutas are harassing. And again, there's very little on the ground. We're droning, we're going into Hydras. Oh, a very expensive tech transition here from uThermal. I almost called him the YouTube man. I mean, he'd probably like it. As Mutas, they rotate around. How many Mutas do we have? 6 Mutas. That's a decent amount. Is enough to one-shot. One-shot probes, I should emphasize, not stalkers. So we have a threatening force here, and again, we're going double Evo Chamber behind this into a very delayed third base. Here come the Adepts, though, in towards that natural. They go for the Queen. The Queen, do we have a transfuse? We do, but no reaction. The Queen goes down. Oof, big loss there for uThermal. And these Adepts, they're going ham. And again, as we mentioned, the Mutas that were busy across the map, now they're racing back home. They run into the Phoenixes. Good control out of Maplez. He does chip away at those Mutas, and the drones are going down so quick. 17 workers fall. Did I say 17? I'm going to say 19, as we still have 2 more Adepts in the main base. We have the Phoenixes catching another Queen as well. And this is becoming game-ending damage. This is becoming far too much here. Again, a really good response from Maplez, really good initial defense as well, reading what uThermal was up to. Again, there were only a handful of things that it could have been. The Dropper Lords did nothing. The Mutas didn't do enough either. What did the Mutas do? They killed like 1 extra worker, and they killed a pylon. And now we have uThermal trying to recover here. Now, there is a world where maybe these Mutas kill him in our line. You know, maybe Maplez is out of position. Maybe he's moving out across the map. uThermal comes in. Maplez responds by turning back around. By the time he gets home, he loses however many workers, right? Like, there's a world where maybe we can make something like that happen. Maybe we can get into a Ling run by. Right now, we're spending a lot of gas on Hydras. There's no Baneling Nest. uThermal is just in a really rough position here. It's hard to imagine a world where he can bounce back outside of Maplez making a mistake, right? If he like fumbles the ball, if he makes a big blunder, then uThermal can bounce back. Definitely 100%. But that's kind of what we're hoping for. You know, we're hoping like maybe Maplez overextends with these Phoenixes. Maybe he sends them over the Hydras and it loses all the Phoenixes, for example. Something along those lines, as we get 4 drone kills here after the 3rd. Dive into the main base. We're going to be able to pick up another Queen. Ooh, another 2 Queens even. Mutas are going across the map. We have plenty of Adepts to defend. They can't quite defend against the Mutas, so probes are going down, but I don't think we care. Yeah, let's just move out across the map. Phoenixes should be racing back home. They do get recalled. And the Mutas, they do get damage done. 6 probes, 7, 8, almost 8. Ooh, but they are going to be shut down by the Phoenixes, and here come the Adepts. And again, Adepts, they do well against all things light. What are light units? Lings and Hydras. Exactly what uThermal has. Hydra's going to melt against this. And GG gets called. We don't even get the final fight, and Maplez will take a lead in the series 1-0. GG. GG, well played. Again, solid defense out of Maplez. More importantly, though, what I will say, something that carried Maplez a lot more there. Oh, shit. Is his scouting. Maplez, he was able to confirm the gas opener. He was able to confirm the lair follow-up. He was able to deduce what was happening as he confirmed the lack of gases. So that is why the Dropper Lords did so little, because Maplez was so on top of everything that uThermal was doing. Well, solid scouting there out of Maplez, solid reaction, solid responses. With that, that is game 1 in the books. But now we're getting ready for game number 2. Will Maplez 2-0 uThermal? Will uThermal bounce back? Will uThermal switch races? I'm curious. Game 1, uThermal was Zerg. Do we go for the trifecta? Do we go back to Terran? Do we commit to Zerg? How brave is uThermal feeling right now? How brave, Papias. Here we go. We're going to be loading into game number 2 on Alcyone. Let's go. Let us go. Oh, they switched places. God damn it. As spawning in the top right-hand corner of Alcyone, we have our Canadian Protoss player, the Blue Protoss, representing Team Gosu. It is Maplez. Leading the series 1-0, and spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the red Zerg player, usually Terran, but he's off racing a Zerg from the land of the Netherlands. It is uThermal, aka the YouTube man. He is the YouTube man. Let's go. As we are going to be settling into this. Okay, once again, gas first. Once again, we do have a gas first opener out of uThermal. Actually, though, he is sending out his drone. Are we going for the gold? it looks like we're going gas first into the gold. So very interesting opener here out of uThermal. Oh, sorry, gas pool into the gold. Okay. So once again, an aggressive opener. Once again, this will lead into fast link speed, into fast links, but he's going for a greedy follow-up here. I like how we're mixing it up. Overall, the Probe Scout is coming in. The Probe Scout confirms the same build as Game 1. This looks just like Game 1. Gas first for fast link speed, followed by the spawning pool for faster links as well. So this looks like the same build, and will Maplez scout? Will he check the gold? That is what's important right now. Probe is going to be checking the right-hand side. And oh, we do! We check the goal-based location. Again, Maplez, he was born and raised in an NA server. He knows all the tricks he can whip out. Does confirm the goal base. How does he respond? How does he react to it? What are we going for? As we do see Maplez mining out the minerals on the right-hand side to gain access to the goal base. It's already a good reaction here from Maplez. Mining through those minerals. Meanwhile, he did delay his expansion, went for a Gate Cybercore opener because of the faster spawning pool of uThermal. And once again, link speed, and we don't pull out of gas. We have not pulled out of gas. That typically means that we're going to be rushing into either roaches, a Bailey nest, or, I mean, we've seen a Bailey nest by now. So roaches or a lair. Just like last game, it could be a fast lair. Yep, there we go. Fast lair is on the way for uThermal. Now, last game he tried to go for Drop Lords. I don't see that happening this time. This could be for just straight up 2-base muta. With the goal base, it's wise to link flood. So maybe just a straight up link flood with Drop Lords again. I wouldn't be too opposed to it. We have an Overlord here towards left, Overlord coming in towards right. Did we go for the same build, but with an added goal? That is the question. Yeah, as more links are on the way. I do like this. In a way, this goal base is kind of like a magnet. It's forcing Maplez to be a little bit more aggressive, and Maplez is exposing himself while uThermal is just flooding links. Flooding links across the map, trying to catch out some of these depths. It looks like he will. Barely won't. Barely will not catch them. Overlords, they're getting in position. And again, we're flooding links to, I imagine, drop into the bases. Yeah, we're going to be fully walling off on 2 bases. This time, Maplez did not confirm the lair. So this time, he has very limited scouting information available. They're the Drop Lords on the way once again straight into the main base. No shield battery in the main this time. Uh-oh. We're less prepared than before. At Fs, they get in position. The Drop Lords have been revealed. And again, there's a shield battery at the natural. There we go. Now a shield battery starts up in the main base. Lings are flooding in. Oh my god, that's going to be a lot of lings. We dive into that main. So far, good reaction by Maplez. He's going to lose a worker. Oh, at least he should. Yeah, boys are being pulled. One is around. One that does get surrounded. Never mind. The drone drilling. The probe drilling. From Maplez, a really clean defense. Doesn't lose his adept. Doesn't lose anything. He will deflect uThermal. This time, though, we're saturating the gold, and we are not taking all of our gases. We're going into 2-base Roach. It's going to be a 2-base Roach all-in follow-up by uThermal. It is not going to be mutas this time. What this means is that Glaive Adepts will not hard counter. Glaive Adepts, they kind of hard countered Ling Muta into Hydra. Like, there was nothing to do with the Adepts. Nothing could deal with the Adepts. This time, going into Roaches, uThermal is like blind countering the blind counter of Maplez, is basically what's happening. uThermal, he scouted the Twilight Council, so he confirmed what was going on. He already had the Roach Warren on the way. Spine Crawlers are being thrown down, and Roaches are amassing. This time, Glaive Adepts will not kill uThermal. They will not straight up kill him. As we are moving out with a handful of Adepts on the right-hand side, this will get eyes on the Roach Warren, and this should tell Maplez to start Immortal production, or start a Robo. Drones are being focused down. A good amount of damage so far, getting 2 workers. Ooh, I assumed a Robo. We're going for a Dark Shrine. Risky. This is risky because of one thing. One big thing that I'm concerned about. Maplez should see the Roach Warren researching. I know that us. We're killing a lot of drones. Oh my god, the target firing. 10 workers go down. I was going to say Maplez, he didn't see the lair, but he saw the Roach Warren researching. So he should be aware that the lair is done, which means we have access to Overseers. Like, we have mobile detection. Like, uThermal, he will have the tools to defend against ETs. It won't be the cleanest defense. We don't have any spores, for example. No spores, so there's potential for damage, but we'll see. We'll see how this all comes together. Behind this, uThermal going into a Hydroden. Adepts, they shade into the main base, killing more drones. Oh my god. uThermal struggling to hold on right now, losing so much of his economy. He's being forced all in. He is now all in, and again, there's no robots to defend, but DTs, they can actually work beautifully defensively if we can warp them in. There we go. Boys are being pulled. We're trying to hold on here to the natural. Workers are going to be going down. Stalker's going ham here on these roaches. We will clean this up eventually. We lose 8 probes in the process. Oof. It looks like we do clean this up. Maplez, he maintains a worker lead. Dark Shrine is done. DTs are being warped in across the map. Do we have detection? We do not. Quickly checking the units tab here. No Overseer, no Spores. These DTs, they're going to get damage done. But we need to go here and now as uThermal is amassing Hydras as we speak. Building up his roaches, redroning his goal base. Resaturating. We're not going in yet. The longer that we wait, the higher chance there is of there being detection. But Maplez is supply blocked. Oof. So it looks like Maplez wants to warp in more DTs, and he can't because of the brutal supply block here. Pylons are on the way. And finally we can warp in. We're going to be warping in Stalkers on the front lines. Now we waddle in with the DT. I was hoping for additional DTs, and we waited too long. Now we have detection. Overseer is here just in time. If this had hit when it was warped in, we would have dealt damage, but now we will not. Ay, brutal here. We do have damage being done in the main, as 6 workers did go down. That's some damage. But again, now we're getting detection all over the place. Looks like this was the Adepts. Adepts in the main. CTs are chilling here at the gold. And uThermal, he is building up quite hard here with his army. We do see Maplez now moving out with a handful of Stalkers. Being somewhat active here. No Blink, bear that in mind. Oh, no, my apologies. Blink is done. Thought Blink was still on the way, but no, Blink is done. Maplez has potential, but he runs into the Hydras. Oh, runs into the Hydras. Gets 1 Hydra for his troubles. Oh. Won't lose anything. Again, Overseer is still in position. Because it's an Overseer, I would love Adept Harass. Just straight up Adept Harass would work wonders here. Just focus firing drones. Stalkers, they try to come in. Forced back by the army. Yeah, as the Hydras get forced away, this is when the Adepts can come in. But that's a lot of Hydras, and we might commit to the attack here. Yeah, as the Hydras, they turn back around. They're close enough here to the mineral line. Adepts arrive, but the Hydras are in position. And Maplez doesn't find any damage. Doesn't find anything here at the gold. Gonna try to shade past the army towards the main, but again, the Hydras are coming in. They're closing in on the army. Stalkers, they also rock up, but the Hydras are in position. Yeah, Maplez doesn't find any damage. As I say that, he does shade into the main. He gets 4 drones. Not bad. 5 drones. Let's go. 6 workers towards the end. This suddenly is more worth it here for Maplez. Unfortunately, he didn't deny the gold mining, and the gold more than makes up for the dead workers. And this is not a fight to take. Again, against Hydra, Stalkers, they struggle. Like, they are not a good unit to fight against Hydra, especially Mass Hydra. We need Charge Lots, Archon, or Splash Damage, right? Colossus, Disruptors. Mainly Colossus or Storm. Anything else. Goal base is going to be denied. There's no way to hold on to this. And Maplez was a little bit too cavalier. A little bit too adventurous. As uThermal is going to keep on pushing. And Stutter stepping forward, camping the production here. Camping the production takes down a Cybercore. Takes down a gateway as well. Does take down that. Oh god! Does take down the gateway. We have DTs going to be waddling on in. Did focus down that Overseer. Cute move there from Maplez. Does deny the detection. Can force this all the way back. But more detection is on the way. Overseer just now finishing. Spores in production back at home. Maplez will retreat. Meanwhile, uThermal getting a third. He's getting a third base up running, gonna get it saturated. Maplez can't really contest against this. As a couple of DTs do trickle in. Maplez getting a ninja base. Let's go. As he runs his DTs into the army. Ay, ay, ay. That's a lot of Dark Templar going down. And GG gets called. We don't even get the final fight there, as the writing was on the wall. And uThermal fights back, tying up the series 1-1. GG. Okay. We find ourselves with an ace match, and uThermal has been quite aggressive with these openers so far. Going for gas pool lane drops every single game. Do we do it again in game 3? In game number 3, likewise, the Glaive Depths did quite well. I was talking about how, I wasn't too fond of the Glaive Depths because we already had Roaches coming out. Despite that, uThermal was pulled apart, and the Adepts were doing quite well for themselves. The DT follow-up was risky. Going DT instead of Robo Immortal production, or Robo production in general, was a risky move. I do think that if we didn't get supply blocked, if Maplez didn't get supply blocked, then we could have done more damage. We would have 100% done more damage. So Maplez, he did slip up there in his own macro and was punished hard for it. Otherwise, it could have been a very different game, especially if the DTs had hit then and there. Would have been a very different outcome. I don't know if it would have been a different outcome, but a different game state nonetheless. And now we're getting into the ace match. We're getting into game number 3. Let's go. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Hardlead, we have our Canadian... God, they switched places again. We have our Canadian Protoss player, the Blue Protoss representing Team Gosu. It is Maplez. Being forced into the ace match and spawning in the top left hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the Red Zerg player from the land of the Netherlands, usually Terran, but off racing as Zerg. It's the YouTube man himself, tying things up 1-1. It is uThermal. uThermal. Let's go. Okay, so again, so far every game of this series, uThermal has opened up gas first. Once again, gas first opener from uThermal. Going to be gas into spawning pool. Now, every game without fail, it's been gas first into the spawning pool, into Ling Speed, into a fast lair, into Dropper Lord Harass. And I'll be honest, so far, the Dropper Lords have been lackluster. Both in game 1 and in game 2, the Dropper Lords didn't really do any damage, and Maplez had really clean defense against it. It's been about the follow-ups. Game 1, the follow-up was 2-base Spire, 2-base Mutas from uThermal. Game 2 was 2-base Roach. Game 3, 2-base Hydra. What do we go for after our initial opener? As we do see Maplez going for a pylon block here at the natural base location. Does come in with a probe scout, does confirm the gas first, forcing the unnatural natural. And I'm curious if we still stay in gas after Ling Speed. That's what I'm curious about. Now remember, we are loading into Hard Lead, not a bad map for all-ins. Short rush distance by ground. Ling Speed soon about to be researched as we are nearing that 100 gas and 100 minerals. Meanwhile, back at home, once again, Zealot first here by Maplez. I don't think a Zealot first is necessary, but is going for it just to be safe. Okay, I was like, are we rallying across the map? We pull back. Ling Speed is being researched. We stay in gas. Should be a lair again. Should be a fast lair here. Especially because we would have probably seen a Bailey Nest by now. Maybe after the probe goes down, we can opt to throw that down instead. Yeah, no Bailey Nest. Should be a lair. Should be drop lords. We have one Overlord here on the right-hand side. We have one Overlord here towards the left, so we can go for two for the kind of multi-prong drop lord harass. There's that lair in production. As we are staying in gas. So it's just been the same opener every game. Same opener, 3 games in a row here for uThermal. I wonder if this is just how he plays Zerg versus Protoss, or if he's just trying it out, and just like practicing and like refining. Again, I don't know. If you're familiar with uThermal's off race, then let us know what he likes. What does he like, Puppy? What does he like? as we're walling off here with 2 gateways at the natural. We have 1 gateway in the main. No shield batteries yet, as we're waiting for the lair to finish up. Adept does shade in. Ooh, good target firing here. 3 drones go down. Maplez, he confirms the lair. Going for a Twilight Council response. Going for a 4th gateway as well. Oh, sorry, just 3 gateways for now, still. So 3 gate Glaive Adepts. It should be Glaives as a follow-up once again. We can see the Stalkers getting in position to try to zone away and get eyes on any kind of Overlords. And we're going to base Hydra. I was joking when I said earlier, like, game 1 was 2-base Muta, game 2 was 2-base Roach, game 3 2-base Hydra. Unironically, yes, 2-base Hydra. Okay. I think uThermal dies. So what I'm worried about here is this isn't the first time we've seen 2-base Hydra. This is not quite the Miyamika build. Miyamika's build is a little bit cleaner than this, because Miyamika does 2-base Hydra professionally at a very high level. But what Miyamika historically struggles against with his 2-base Hydra builds is Glaive Adepts. We spoke about this in game 1. Glaives is beautiful against Lings and Hydras. Hydras struggle, especially in low numbers, against Mass Adept. So I'm concerned for uThermal, as we are producing as many Hydras as possible, but how many gateways do we have? It's going to be 4 gate Glaive Adepts. That's a lot of Adepts. The Overlord gets shut down. Now, uThermal did scout. He did scout the opener, which is good, but the Adepts are already here. They're already here. Hydras, they need a little bit more time. Drones are under fire. As we come in from the right-hand side, Hydras, they do pop out. We can focus them down. Lings, they come in to reinforce. It looks like these initial Adepts are going to be shut down. They will be cleaned up. They will be forced back. But again, if I want to bet on these 2 armies, I love this. 5th and 6th gateway. 2-base, 6-gate Glaive Adepts. We need a mass amount of Adepts, and we can fight this head-on. Now, this is going to come down to the positioning. If uThermal gets enough Lings out, I do think that Lings are very important in this situation, because we need to buffer for the Hydras. The Hydras are very fragile. They're very, very exposed at times. As we do see the army bypassing the army of the Adepts. Okay, so we have a choice to make, because we do catch some reinforcements. Do we go for a base trade? Hydras are rocking up across the map at the same time. Maplez, he is shading in towards that 3rd base. Does he shade across the map, though? He's coming back home. He's turning back around. Ooh, we didn't need the recall. Uh-oh. A little bit awkward there. I liked us coming in from behind to trap the army. Yeah, Adepts, they were recalled into the main base. A bit of a blunder defense here by Maplez, as he's being pulled apart a little bit here. It was being picked apart, but now we can clean up these Hydras. Again, this could have happened a couple of seconds ago if we just turned around and walked. we didn't need to recall. Hydras, they get annihilated. To be expected. Adepts, they get across the map. And uThermal is in a bit of trouble. He at least killed a gateway, so there's a little bit less reinforcement potential. But we're trying to focus down the Prism. Prism taking a lot of hits, and Maplez, did we overextend? Looks like we barely did not. Prism does get away. Adepts going ham here in all the bases, at the 3rd base, in the main as well. And we're going into Colossus. This is a little bit unnecessary, but sure, we're rushing into Colossus production. I think we're complicating things a little bit too much, and there it is. GG gets called regardless. The writing was on the wall here, and Maplez will take the series 2-1. GG. Ay, ay, ay. GG, well played. uThermal having a bit of fun here tonight. He did open up gas pool lair every game, and every game he did something different. But all for 2 bases. Game 1, 2-base Muta. Game 2, 2-base Roach. Game 3, 2-base Hydra. And as we were talking about in the lead up to it, what I was really concerned about is that even though he scouted the Twilight Council, he saw the Glaive Adepts, he's still committed to the Mutas and still committed to the Hydras. And Hydras, they melt. They melt against Adepts. As you saw, Adepts, they just have their way with Ling Hydra. It's very difficult to make that work. And Maplez, he just had a really good response. Really lucky response with his Twilight Council play, just because he didn't know it was Hydras. But also, once he confirmed it, threw down a 5th and 6th gateway, you know, threw down a Bay as well for Colossus production, just hard countering what uThermal was up to. So GG, well played. Congratulations to Maples. My condolences to uThermal. I hope he enjoys making some YouTube videos out of that. I was shaking my head. I would hold on. You know what? I'm gonna check. I'm gonna double check. Let's see. Has he already made something? uThermal.